now tuned into the biggest ever. YMCMB, Tunchi Lee, Young Angel, Young Lion, man. Y'all boys get on the track with Onika Mirage and y'all still dying, man. What's up? We in this bitch. This ain't gonna be the first time that I do numbers on 2 crutches. Seen more plaques than 2 brushes. Until I'm at the pearly white gates, I gotta move something, do something. All meetings happen in person, so they can't prove nothing. No, they ain't.
Let's get ready to rumble!
What's going on, world? It's your boy Ryan Fraser. Shout out to my guy Nathan. He made that little intro for me. Got it popping, man, and I figured, we'd switch a little things up around here, try to get it more updated. But shout out to everybody tuning in, man. If you're tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from, make sure you drop a comment, drop a like. I'm your host, Ryan Fraser, Boxing Talk Up North. Yes, from up North Canada. Salute to Jack Catterall and Regis Prograis, man. They put on a great show this past weekend. And I think for Regis Prograis, especially, a lot of us want to see what his next move is. But, I mean, Jack Catterall is coming in of his own. Jack Catterall is definitely had a couple good wins. Like, he's definitely in position. I think most boxing fans are going to say that Jack Catterall may deserve the big fights now. But let's talk about it, man. Road for each guy. We'll talk on Jack Catterall first. We'll take a look at the 140-pound division and how it's rounding out so far. We got a lot of players there at 140. It's definitely a good division. It's definitely heating up. It's one of the better divisions in boxing. But yeah, let's take a look at the world champions at 140. We'll screen share here. I'll bring it up for y'all. Yeah, when you come in, man, just smash the like button, drop a comment. Let me know where you're coming from. Let me know out the country, in the country, where it's at. But yeah, let's share it here. We got Teofimo Lopez. I believe he has the ring. Yep. Oh, sorry, I went over that. The ring junior welterweight champion. He has the WBO championship as well. The IBF champ is Liam Paro. The WBC champ is in limbo because Albert Puello is the interim and Devin Haney is in champion in recess. WBA is Jose Rao Venezuela. So those are your champions, man. And obviously Jack Catterall, he won the WBO International. So he's probably in line for... Let's take a look at the rankings, actually. He's probably in line for Teofimo Lopez his title. So junior welterweight here, WBO. Yeah, he's number 2 right now. And I'm sure, this isn't updated. Obviously, this happened the past weekend. So I'm sure he will leapfrog Arnold Barboza. Maybe not, because Barboza's been the mandatory for a while. We've been talking about that. Barboza should have been fought Teofimo Lopez for a minute now. So maybe he won't jump him. It'll be interesting to see. But I feel like Teofimo Lopez, Jack Catterall in the UK can do a lot of things for both men's profile. It's probably a bigger fight in the UK. But we will have to see, man. I'm not sure where Jack Catterall goes next because, Teofimo Lopez seems like he's in a contract, situation with Bob Arum, unless he's just, I don't know why he would start that, but it seems like there's definitely some misconception with the teams, I'm not sure exactly where, but Teofimo Lopez should have been fought before the end of the year. I think he had a couple dates and something happened to where he basically, some people are saying he backed out from the Brian Norman Jr. fight because it was a Friday date at the Hulu Theater. And then now he's talking about he's not in his contract with Bob, and Bob Arum is telling him, you re-sign the contract. So Teofimo Lopez is in limbo. We don't really know what he's doing, man. We don't know. But Teofimo Lopez got to definitely switch things up. But until then, we could talk about the other things Jack Catterall can do, because I think 140 is a very good division, and I think like he doesn't even have to go fight another champion per se, even though I know that's what they want to do, because he's been on this nice run so far, so his name's kind of in demand. But let's look at all the 140s and see if there's another fight that they can bring over there, like a Regis fight, like like a former champ who can boost the profile one of Jack, and really cement his case for getting a bigger piece of the pie, or just get him like a big fight in Saudi, whatever it may look like. But yeah, 140 box rec, come on. They got Devin Haney, Lopez, Andy Hiroka, and then Jack Catterall's number 4. So you got 6. Bril Matias, I think he's fighting not next week, the week after, November 9th. And you got Jose Ramirez, who's also fighting this month. Arnold Barboza, who's also fighting. They're fighting each other on the 15th. So any one of those guys, Ramirez, obviously, former champ. Barboza's 30-0. So, I mean, those are good fights for Jack Catterall. UK versus Mexico. The Mexican fan base behind these guys. Richard Hitchison and Liam Paro. They fighting for a title. Should Richard Hitchison win, I don't think he takes Jack Catterall right away. I think he gets a New York fight. And should Liam Paro win, then maybe he explores Jack Catterall, because Liam Paro seems like he's trying to get the bigger names. He's trying to get the big fights. I think, Richard Hitchison, should he win it, it'd be like he have to defend his title at home, get that homecoming defend, and then start chasing those legacy fights. Okay, let's move on down a bit. Adam Azine, I don't think he's ready. Still green, 12-0, but he is 11th in the world. Steve Claggett, I mean, that could be a warm-up fight for the Tio fight, because, Steve was touching Tio in that fight. Sandor Martin is always a good fight. Sandor, a lot of people thought that, he beat Tio. Damn, Rayo Venezuela is this low? All right, but he's a champ, Rayo. I don't think he'll fight. I don't think he'll fight Jack Catterall. And then you got Dalton Smith, your countryman, who's 16-0. So Jack Catterall may not look at that, because, it's he doesn't think he's there yet. Then you got Josh Taylor, who Jack Catterall just beat. Alberto Preo, and Gary Antoine Russell, maybe Brandon Lee. I mean, he signed to Queensberry now, so maybe Eddie want to go get some little revenge. So I mean, there's enough names at 140 for Jack Catterall that I think even if the champs but if they look for bigger fights amongst each other, I'm not sure who Hiroka is. I'm not familiar with them, so I'll take a look. Andy Hiroka. Oh, he's 28. Okay, Southpaw. Oh, shoot. Oh, okay, he stopped Barroso in the last fight. All right. Okay, yeah, I mean, even if Jack Catterall, he don't really go that route of fighting a champ next, then I do think there's enough names in around the division that he can find interesting enough fights for us, because you don't want to see a guy go backwards, man. Maybe I need some more light here. You don't want to see a guy go backwards, especially Jack. I mean, Jack's been on this roll. Really, he's been beating names. Eddie Hearn's been matching him properly. Jorge and Linares, and Regis Prograis recently, and Josh Taylor, all former champs. That's the way you want to go about the business of building fighters, is by beating former champions, current champions. The fans, respected, and it looks good on the resume, man. Like, who have you fought? People know those guys. Those guys are notable names in around the division. So, salute to Eddie Hearn, man, for getting Jack Catterall in position. It'll be interesting to see what comes next, but I won't dive deep into that because I want to talk about Regis Prograis a bit. Shout out to the Rougarou Regis. Always been a great champ. I was rooting for him in the fight, but I think we all saw what he said at the end. He feels like it's time for the young guys to take over, and he's over the hill. And I just think Regis Prograis, he's been in around, you know, bare knuckle Muay Thai gym, so he probably has had this writing on the wall of, I'm probably gonna join this world soon. I'm just gonna stay in this position of almost being a gatekeeper now, But we'll see what Regis Prograis, what he comes up with, man. I mean, let's take a look here at what he said last on the DAZN fight. He's definitely a champ. So I mean, shout out to Regis Prograis, man. He's a good dude, man.
Give him a world title. He definitely Jack was just better. That's all. Jack was the better man. I'm not gonna lie. I just feel like he was the better man. He deserves a world title fight. I mean, I think, to be honest, I fought the best of them so far. I think Jack is probably the top I fought. So he definitely deserves the world title next. Give this man a round of applause. Hope Eddie Hearn, Sam Jones do the right thing. Give him a world title. He definitely deserves it. Just like he said, I had my time in the sun, and it's time to turn over him. Good job, Jack. And
there's a lot of fighters, that
you was the best so far, and I'll give you tips.
I'll
talk to you about things later.
But,
yeah, that's it. Jack was just better.
They
That's
know
all.
how to
Jack
take
was the
their
better
wins
man.
and their losses in the same light. And Regis Prograis is definitely one of those dudes, man. Like he was very confident coming in the fight, saying he was gonna knock out Jack, but he did put him down. But as the fight went on, Regis just gassed out. He said 12 rounders probably not for him. And considering to move up to 47, I don't think that does him any justice because he's not a big puncher like Tank, and he's a small guy. Like Regis Prograis is very small, and those guys blow up after 47. Then you got guys like Jaron Ennis, Blair Cobbs, Mario Barrios. Those are big guys, man. So I don't think that Regis Prograis should explore 47. I think it would go wrong for him, man. I don't think it would be good. Be a bad day for Regis Prograis should he do that. But I'm not gonna tell the man what to do. That's for sure. He's a great champ, in and out the ring. He's made a lot of money. He's done a good job of what he's been set up with, because Regis Prograis hasn't had the biggest network all the time. He hasn't had the biggest promoter, and he seemed to be able to make it work, getting some good fights, getting his name in. Like, his name was always there at 140. Like, people was always like, yeah, Regis Prograis, he's definitely a puncher, a fighter. And then obviously, as he's faced these young guys, he's been exposed. He looks like he's got feet in the mud. And Regis Prograis, bare knuckle fighting might be the route for him. I haven't watched bare knuckle fighting. Maybe somebody who's watching can educate me on how he would do in there. But I just think like Regis Prograis at this point, he needs to either step down the competition and try to build, or be a gatekeeper and be gracefully with that. Make your money, man. Make sure you in the right fights. Don't get hurt. Try not to get hurt. But at the same time, you don't want to stay in it too long, bro. If you don't love it, if you don't want to train to make it to the 12, don't stay in the sport too long, because that's how you get hurt. That's how guys get injuries for life. Trying to stay in to make the money, not doing the training, half-assing the training, and then going into war, man. Like, you can't do that. And I think Regis Prograis said, like, he just couldn't go 12. So he's not championship level no more. That's basically what he's telling us. And bare knuckle fighting, they're probably not as skilled as boxers. So he probably got a chance there to stop some dudes. I don't know what the rounds are like in bare knuckle. I don't know if they do 12s either. I don't even know how it's constructed. I've never watched it. But I don't think Regis Prograis has many days left in boxing. I should say maybe 2 or 3 more big fights. You know, they could be against the right opponents, but I don't think he has a lot left in him, and he shouldn't hold this over his head, man. He's had a great career. He's done a lot of good things in boxing. You know, he went up the Super 6 series. Him and Josh Taylor had a really good battle. You know, some people thought Regis won. Josh Taylor came out the winner of the tournament and all the belts. And you know, they kind of hung around, but I think even Regis may have been more active than Josh Taylor. You know, Regis, after that, he kind of let a few of his prime years slide. Like, we didn't really see him in big fights right after that. It took a while. And that's unfortunate, man. But that may have been promotional issues, manager issues, or him just making a bag and enjoying life too much. You know, instead of making a couple more fights to make that money, to get him back into position to fight Josh Taylor for a rematch or something. But we'll never know, man. History will never tell us. What we do know is Regis Prograis is a former champ, one of the most humble champs. As much as he talks crap, when he loses, he doesn't cry about it, man. He gave Jack Catterall his flowers. You know, when Devin Haney beat him, he gave Devin Haney his flowers. You know, it's just, the guy's just a gracious guy, man. Shout out to him. So I appreciate I appreciate Regis Prograis, everything that he does. What's going on, my guy Edwin? Yeah, I'm not gonna be on too long, bro. That's why I didn't call you. He's probably like, "Yo, this guy didn't call me, and he went live again." But yeah, just talking about this Regis Prograis and Jack Catterall. I think Jack Catterall deserves everything he's getting. So let's talk about Jack Catterall, man. Who can be king? Can he join the 140 elites? Can Jack Catterall be among the big dudes, the big dogs that we just talked about? You know, let's go back to it. See if he can be among those guys, man. Do we consider Jack Catterall in this class? You know, it's definitely one of those I think we got to see. But Teofimo Lopez, he got the ring. He got the WBO. So Tio, Liam Pyro, he's got the IPF. You could put Alberto Puello or Devin Haney, so WBC. And Jose Rayo Venezuela, he's got the WBA. Yo, I think that guy right there and Jack Catterall be a good fight. Rayo. El Rayo, man. They could bring it to the UK. Or you can bring, this is obviously the fight most fans think is gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen too, is Liam Pyro and Jack Catterall. Should Liam Pyro beat Richard Hitchison, which I have Liam Pyro beating Hitchison. And this is not no slight to Hitchison. That's actually, I just think Liam Pyro is a great fighter. I just think he doesn't get enough respect. You know, I think a lot of people think his fight over Matias was more of a Matias thing than Pyro thing, but I think Liam Pyro is of that this echelon. Like, I think he is elite, man. People forget that he was giving Shakur Stevenson's trouble in the sparring. You know, leading up to the Edwin De Los Santos fight. You know, this was one of Shakur's main sparring partners, and people were saying that Liam Pyro was touching Shakur. So Liam Pyro, I think, is the best fight because it's in-house. The Teofimo Lopez fight probably won't happen because like we saw the rankings earlier. I don't know if this will show it. No, it just says who he fought last. But we saw the rankings earlier, and Barbosa is still the WBO mandatory for Teo. And Barbosa's been the mandatory for a while. So I'm thinking if Barbosa's to beat Ramirez, you know, on that November 15th card in Saudi, Latino night. You can bet you, man, Oscar De La Hoya and Barboza are going straight to the WBO and enforcing that mandatory because it's been too long. Like I don't remember the last time this mandatory's been fought. Like I think Tio when he was at 30, I'm pretty sure Barboza was the mandatory as well. Like I just know that Barboza's been the mandatory for like at least a year now. So you gotta understand that he's probably now like, all right, I just signed with Golden Boy, left top ranked to sign with Golden Boy. I'm talking about Barboza now. Left top ranked to sign a Golden Boy. Top rank wouldn't give me the Tio fight, even though we were both over there. Now I'm gonna go through the sanctioning body to get the fight, which leaves Jack Catterall out the mix. And I think that's why I'm saying Jack Catterall should Liam Paro beat Richard Hitchison. We see Jack Catterall and Liam Paro maybe March, April next year for the IBF title. You know, put that where you want to put it. You know, if you want to put that in Saudi, or if you want to put that I don't know. You're not gonna put it in Las Vegas. I don't know where Matchroom could put that because Liam Paro is not a big name in Australia. They say he's not a big draw. He's not like Tim Tszyu. He's not like Kambosos. So I don't know what you do with Liam Paro and Jack Catterall. I guess you bring it to the UK because of Jack Catterall. He's got a big following in the UK. So you bring, Liam Paro's kind of turning into a guy who's going to be on the road all the time. Maybe. I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm not really mad for Liam Paro because I think he's got to do this if he wants to become the loved fighter of Australia. Because when you look at it, man, yeah, man. Hope Barboza becomes world champion. Yeah, Barboza, I felt like he lost his last fight against that Irish guy on that Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fight. Like he got gifted a win. But yeah, if Liam Paro is to go on the road, beat Richard Hitchison in Puerto Rico, beat Jack Catterall in the UK, I mean Australia gotta give that guy love, man. They will, and I think because Kambosos is kind of falling down now. We saw what happened to Tim Tszyu. Australia, y'all need somebody else, man. I mean, Jay Apataya is definitely stepping it up. He's definitely putting his mark on the game. Jay Apataya, but he's in the cruiserweight division where it's not as the names aren't as glamorous as 40. Liam Paro could possibly bring a Devin Haney fight to Australia. That would be amazing. Teofimo Lopez fight to Australia. That'd be amazing, but I do think Liam Paro would have to go out and beat Richard Hitchison and Jack Catterall. And I don't know if he could beat Jack Catterall. That's why I'm giving Jack his respect today. Because, he's a great fighter, man. He's definitely shown, I thought he beat Josh Taylor in the first fight. It was a win for Josh, but I thought Jack Catterall won. Or it should have been a draw if they wanted to rob Jack. But you know what? We're not going to call that a robbery because it was a close fight. I just thought Jack did a little bit more. So now Jack gets his revenge in the second fight against Taylor. It's not even a discussion of who won. And now we're here, man. Jack Catterall beats Regis. So he's beat Linares. He's beat Taylor. He's beat Regis. He's beaten 3 big names in the division. Regis is right. He deserves a world title shot. It's just, how boxing goes. We don't know if he's going to get it, man. Because in boxing, the people who have the titles, unless the mandatories are enforced, unless the sanctioning bodies come down on them, they don't really do anything to anybody else's, you know what I'm saying? They're not trying to help nobody else. They're going to do what they got to do to make the most money for themselves. So that's just the way boxing is. So, I mean, if Turkey Al-Sheikh is involved, then we do get Catterall and Dev maybe. Or Catterall and Paro even. Maybe on a... Nah, it can't be a 5v5 because that's in-house for Matchroom. But I think it could work to where Liam Pyro, should he beats Richard Hitchison, can get that fight, man. And if Richard Hitchison beats Pyro, I don't think he fights Catterall right away. I think he goes back. I said, like, has the homecoming in New York. Has the fight maybe at a Barclays. Bring it back where you started. And then go fight Catterall. But there's enough names for Catterall that he doesn't need a champ right now, in my opinion. He can fight the loser of Barbosa Ramirez. Or he can fight other names that I had up there, like Poyo. He's the intern champ. Gary Anton Russell. He just had a big fight with Poyo. I'm sure he'll get back in there with a name. Andy Hiroka. I think he's in WBA. He doesn't have a fight, so I mean, he's from Japan. He probably wants to be in the mix more. Jack Catterall is a big name. So I mean, there's people here for Jack, man. He just gotta really he really gotta figure out what they're gonna do. He gotta sit down with his team, talk about it, and get it all situated, because I do think that I think Jack Catterall is a good fighter, man. I like what he does in the ring. Very, very like he's more of a technician than a puncher. He's like a boxer puncher. And those guys are always good guys, man. They always fight good. They always got a chance to win the fight at any point. And really, it's just the beauty of watching them break the guys down, man. So, I mean, Barboza, I think he'll probably be the guy that Jack Catterall fights next. And you know what? Why not, man? You got Oscar De La Hoya talking about how Eddie Hearn does poor matchmaking. Why not these guys get together and make a 5v5 Golden Boy versus Matchroom? Why don't we bring that up? Do you think Barbosa's age being 41 is cap? No way he 40. Yeah, I know he doesn't look 41, but hey, man. There's a lot of those Cuban guys that look like they're 50. Like Luis Ortiz, King Kong. I swear his age never changed for the longest time. So I don't know. Maybe Barbosa, he's eating some good food. He's aging well. But yeah, I don't know how he's 41 and still hasn't had a title shot. He's been around for forever. I think he's like 30-0. And he's got no title shot. No big name fight really for Barbosa. So hopefully he can beat Ramirez. That'd be his first big name win. But I think Jose Ramirez is just too polished for Barbosa. But Jose's coming off a big layoff. I think he just got married. He hasn't fought in so long, Jose. So I don't know. I think Barbosa hasn't fought in like a year either. I don't know, man. It's a lot of inactivity. Golden Boy. They do a lot of weird things over at Golden Boy. But Oscar De La Hoya, he doesn't stop fights. So we can't get mad about that. He does put his fighters out there. So whoever wins, Barbosa or Ramirez, should fight Jack Catterall. I think so. If Eddie Hearn, he mad at he probably mad at Oscar, because all Oscar does is try to get on top of Eddie, which is weird. Because Oscar De La Hoya's got his own team over there, got his own thing going on over there, but all he does is talk about Eddie Hearn and matchmaking. And it's like, buddy, your guys don't really go in them fights. Your guys don't go in the fire. So why don't you go put one of your winners, Barbosa or Ramirez, in the fire with Jack Catterall, and we'll see what's good. You ever see Barbosa versus Rolly Romero? Nah, that'd be a good fight, though. I mean, I don't think Rolly would take it because, he's infatuated with fighting on Amazon Prime. Somebody told him he's a star at Amazon. But that'd be a good fight. Two mediocre guys. I think you can put that on the undercard. Maybe to start off a main card. And I think Rolly knocks out Barbosa, though. Even though Rolly looked pretty bad in his last fight, I don't see him being scared of, Barbosa. Barbosa's not really a punching. Oh, it happened. They fought, bro. Oh, shoot. See, like, I don't really, Yeah, I've never paid attention to Barbosa's career. Yeah, I'll go take a look at it then. Cause I thought 2023. Oh, you talking about Ishmael? Oh, sorry. I was talking. Oh man, I was looking at the wrong one. You talking about Barroso? The old man from Colombia, I think. Yeah. He definitely beat Rolly, man. They cheated for Rolly that day. Yeah, that was terrible, man. That old man was beating on Rolly, and then as soon as I forget his name, man, the ref. As soon as Kenny Weeks, yo, the crazy thing about that ref is he's the same ref that was doing the Badu Jack versus Marcus Brown fight. I don't know if anybody's seen that fight. The Badu Jack had the deepest cut on his forehead, and there's a picture of Weeks standing in the ring, and his shirt is full of blood. And then literally Barbosa's in here fighting with Rolly, and he's not even getting beat up. He's probably beating Rolly up on the card. He's probably winning. And this guy just stopped the fight because he took a couple shots. We all knew that fix was in for Rolly to be a champ. That was terrible, man. And then I was so happy with what Isaac Cruz did to Rolly after that. Isaac Cruz beat Rolly around the ring so bad he thought it was Easter. He said in the post fight, "Happy Easter, everybody!" in the middle of June. Like, hey, bro, like, what is wrong with this dude, Rolly? But yeah, man, Barroso, like, that was sad what happened to him because I think Andy Hiroka, the Japanese guy, knocked out Barroso like a couple months ago. Like, he was in position. Barroso was in position again to go fight against the WBA champ, who is now Ryo. But, politics of boxing basically have failed that man, because I don't understand how he was in position for so long, apparently never got a shot. And it's hilarious because he's signed to the PBC. If you go on the PBC site, Barroso's on there, so he's one of their fighters. But I don't know, I don't get it, man. I think Ishmael Barroso was definitely an example of being mismanaged. He had old man strength, clearly, beating Rolly around the ring. And then, we all knew Rolly was food anyways. We never expected him to be a huge champ. So, yeah, when Isaac Cruz stepped up to the plate, you see the Isaac Cruz situation was a setup for Tank. And it's kind of funny how it all went, because Tank, obviously, he was fighting Frank Martin at the time, so they're looking at the second fight to be the Isaac Cruz rematch. So what do they want to do? They want to hype up Isaac Cruz, so they put Cruz and Rolly in there. Cruz beats the crap out of Rolly, and then His Excellency shows up, and this is what he's doing to boxing, man. He's kind of turning everything on a dime on these guys, because money is not an issue now. That's what we used to hear these guys complain about all the time. So now he's took that argument out of the conversation, and we're going to see who's real, who's not, because now the money's good. So he goes to Ryo and says, "Look, I got life-changing money for you and an opportunity." And he says probably the same to Isaac Cruz. And Isaac Cruz, they're not going to say no, so they fight. It kind of helps the PBC because that fight was also on Amazon Prime. You could have bought that card on Prime. So it helps them out. But they're not thinking that Isaac Cruz is going to lose, because they're trying to set up Isaac Cruz, Tank Davis 2 at 140 for the WBA strap. So they're thinking, Cruz going to go in there and do what he does, and he loses. And this is what happens on these Turkey Al Sheik cards. There's upsets. There's fighters who come in here who are not who we thought they were once they fight level competition. And, it turns a lot of things that these guys got planned for the future upside down. So what does Tank Davis and his team have to do? They gotta try to drag Lomachenko out, because Lomachenko said against it in the Kambosos fight, he didn't want to fight. Like, he said that, "I'm only here to fight because my dad told me to fight." So it told me like Lomachenko probably was gonna retire. So they drag him out. I don't know what they offered him, but obviously it wasn't good enough for Lomachenko to get ready for a fight. He says, no, I don't want to fight Tank. And then Ryo says, I had a long camp. I ain't fighting Tank. And now look, Tank's out of an opponent. And I don't even think, like, even if this fight's postponed, who is he still going to fight? Because Zepeda is scheduled to fight Shakur. They're in line to fight. Who else is there at 35? So Shakur and Zepeda are locked up. Keyshawn Davis apparently is too green for them to fight. But Keyshawn Davis is probably going to fight Baranchek next for a title. So he's going to be out the picture. Floyd Schofield and his dad, people who don't want to see that fight with Tank, might be the best options for Floyd Schofield. But I'd rather see Floyd Schofield fight my guy Lucas Body up here in Canada if he really thinks he's that good. But, yeah, I think even after this Lamont situation, if it gets pushed back, I still think Tank don't have opponents at 35. I just don't. I think they're sitting at 40. And this is what I'm talking. Maybe Tank can go fight Jack Catterall. We talking about Jack Catterall right now. Would you guys like to see that? Like Tank move up to 40 for Catterall? I don't know, man. I don't know if it changes anything for anybody. I don't know if the Americans would like Jack Catterall and Tank Davis at 140. I don't know how that feels. What's going on, Oscar? Appreciate you, brother. But yeah, I just think Tank Davis, even if this fight gets pushed back, he's still not going to have an opponent that people are going to like. It's just 135 is outside of the young cats is drying up, man. I mean, you got Abdullah Mason that we're excited about. We got Keyshawn Davis. People aren't saying he's quite ready. You got Andy Cruz, who's only got like 5 fights. They're not gonna like that against Tank. They're gonna always make an excuse for that, no matter if he's a declared amateur or not. They'll say he only got 5 fights. And then who else? Like who? Let me pull up 135, man. It's not really appealing as 140 is. But I understand. Y'all say Tank is a small dude, and he is. So I totally get it. I guess I'm just trying to figure out opponents for Tank. But maybe Jack Catterall, since we talking about him, like I said, maybe we could throw him in there to help him out with his opponent list. But yeah, you look at the first 4 dudes. Shakur Stevenson's going to be tied up with Zepeda. Vasily Lomachenko is probably going to retire. I don't think he's coming back. Maybe Raymond Molataya, maybe. Emmanuel Navarrete is going back down to fight Oscar Valdez. Shoshino was stopped. I think he was stopped by Shakur. I think he was. Shoshino, yeah, stopped by Shakur in the 6th. So, people going to say if you fight Tank, it's not even going to go 1, they're going to say. They're going to say stuff crazy like that. And Joe Cordina. No, people were mad at Shakur Stevenson for taking that fight. So, I mean, yeah, man. There's not many huge names for Tank Davis, but, I mean, if he goes to 40, go ahead and fight Jack Catterall. Give Jack a chance, Tank. Well, y'all, bring him over the pond, man, and beat on him. 135 is in a chokehold. It's just the champs and Zepeda, not really interesting for Tank or Shakur beside each other. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Oscar. And then we know they're not going to fight right away because Shakur's, apparently, I don't know if he's coming back straight to Zepeda, but he's going to fight Zepeda before he fights Tank. We know that. So, yeah, it is in a chokehold, man, unfortunately. Yeah, Tio should unify. Yes, man, I agree. Tio should, but Tio's problem is he's just, I don't know, man. He's talking about he doesn't want to fight so and so, this and that, money. But yeah, nah, man. I think Tank beats Catterall too. But the thing with Tank, I just want to see him do it. Like when Tank's telling us he didn't feel comfortable at 40. All right, man, cool, whatever. but the names is not at 30 or 35. 30, we know Tank is probably the best 30 pounder. You could stack him up against history probably in the 30 pounders. 35, nah, bro, he ain't the best 35. Roberto Duran was the best 35 pounder ever, in my opinion. But I think Tank is of those Roberto Duran shades. He can move up because of his power and his skill. So I think 140 he can handle, but his fans and the people over there don't think so because they're not confident when they speak about 140. When they speak about 140, they say, Tank is uncomfortable. Tank can't do what he do, and they give us the whole excuses where I'm just like, dude, I believe in Tank more than you because I think he is that guy. I think you put him in 140, and we see more tools come out of Tank's toolbox that we never seen before because he's gonna have to deal with a little bit of adversity. I still think he sparks everybody out there. Like, man, I think the toughest fight for him at 40 is probably Tio or Dev. And those were his toughest fights at 35. But they tougher because those guys are grown more. That's why those fights will be tougher. But I still think Tank sparks him. Even Tio. Like, he should fight Tio, to be honest. Tio been talking crazy. But Teofimo Lopez definitely should unify 40. Or if he's going to go to 47, because Tio talking about he want to fight at 47 and 54, he'd have to go to 47 first, or because you look at 54, it's full of sharks, man. There's nowhere to run in 54. If you go there, 1 through like 10, 15 is tough. You're not getting any easy touches at 54, and those guys are bigger, and at that weight, the gloves are bigger. I think they're 10 ounces at 54, not 8s. So those dudes are bigger. The gloves are a little bit bigger. So you're not going to be hitting those guys the same as you was hitting at 40, 47. Yeah, Tank has a good resume, but he lacks the superstar mega fights. Sadly, all of them superstar fights are in 140. Yeah, Oscar, I've been saying that, they were all at 35 at one point. They were there. And I think Dev was holding on for a long time. Tio, I think he was holding on for a long time too. And then finally they just said, yo, we gotta move. Like, our bodies can't handle it. We know Devin's body can't handle it. He was looking bad on scales. And I don't know if that was strategy for Tank's team. Maybe they were waiting those dudes out. Maybe they wanted to see if they can get them before they moved up to try to get them when they drained. But both of them just moved up. And I think both of them moved right into title fights. Like, I think Dev, he beat Regis for the 140 WBC title. And then Tio took a couple fights because he fought Sandor. He fought somebody else. He took a couple fights at 40 before he got the Josh Taylor fight. So, I mean, Josh Taylor, obviously Tio's probably the best 40-pounder right now just because he does have the ring. He did beat the man. He does have the WBO strap. But I like both dudes, man. I hope they fight. I hope Tio and Dev could fight. But Jack Catterall does deserve to be in the mix. I think his name deserves to be in that hat, per se. Isn't that what Leonard Ellerby said? There's no hat, but I think there's a hat in this case. And I think Devin, Tio, Jack Catterall, and Alberto Pollo, Liam Paro, they all need to mix it up. And I think those dudes are more willing to mix it up than most other divisions, to be honest. I think Tio kind of got to mix it up because, he let the cat out the bag. He hasn't really made a lot of money over there at Top Rank. His contemporaries probably laughing at him right now. Like, they just been making good money. Devin Haney, Tank, Ryan, even Shakur. It sounds to me like Shakur was making more money than Tio on his minimums at Top Rank. So Tio, it makes sense to why he acts the way he acts towards Top Rank, because he does resign to them. He does show loyalty. He doesn't really bash them outside of when they re-up Shakur's contract, or they talk about his minimums, 3 mil. Yeah, I'd be feeling some type of way too. I mean, T.O. beat their guy, Lomachenko, and it seemed like they didn't give him they didn't roll out the carpet for him like he felt like they should have. And they didn't give him the big money after. They should have gave him the big fights, but they didn't. So, he tried to go the Triller route. He tried to go somewhere else for that Kambosos fight. That whole Kambosos fight really blew up in T.O.'s face. That really messed everything up, because that fight was prolonged so long, and then he lost. Like it was prolonged all because he wanted more money, and he got more money from Triller. They couldn't provide the purse, so then it went to Matchroom, I think, and yeah, he lost. So chasing that bag got him bit, but now he's in a situation where he has to be the B side with most of those dudes at 140, because Rao's got the PBC, Dev's got Turkey Al-Sheikh behind him, and Liam Pyro's got Matchroom, who's also got Turk, and Eddie Hearn, who makes good offers. Like, let's be honest, Eddie Hearn pays guys well. As much as you want to say whatever you want to say about Eddie Hearn, he pays fighters good. But yeah, man. Yeah, T.O. beating Loma was not in the plan. Like, Loma was supposed to beat T.O. so that they can propel Lomachenko as the best 35-pounder. While Tank and Dev were there as kids. But no, that didn't happen. Never actually happened, because Lomachenko went for undisputed more than once. Twice he went for it. Lost to the young guys twice. But shout out to Lomachenko. He's always taking tough fights, man. Like, he just ducked Tank, though. We're not gonna let him off the hook on that. I hope you guys don't let him off the hook, because it was a duck, man. I gotta call a duck, and tell Lomachenko come out and say the number was lower than so-and-so, or it wasn't what they say they offer. I'm calling him a duck, man. He ducked Tank Davis. After him telling us that Floyd was protecting Tank, he gonna turn around and duck him when he's the face, not really the face of boxing, but when he's a big attraction now. Tank Davis is worth more money than he was back then. The fight is bigger than it was back then. Even if Lomachenko, he's not in peak form, I get all that. He's not the Lomachenko that he was back then, but the money is there, bro. You talking about retirement, just get that retirement check and just bounce. But I also know these European dudes are not really motivated by money like some of the other fighters. They're not, money doesn't really, I shouldn't say that, because it depends on the person. Money motivates, man. Motivates me. I know if there's a good enough number, I can get out the bed and do it. But I say that all to say Lamont Roach had an interview where he said the Tank number wasn't that crazy either for him to fight Tank. But obviously it's probably his biggest purse, so it's easy for him to get out of bed, because Lamont Roach understands, even if I go in there, I just have a good showing against Tank, my value goes up. I'm going to get paid my most money. Most things are going to go Lamont's way if he has a good showing. People are going to, scrutinize Tank more, especially if Lamont was to last the whole fight. People going to really get on Tank's helmet and say, oh, you can't stop no 30-pounder. But, yeah, that's just what it is, man. But shout out to the UK. Shout out to Jack Catterall getting that dub. I just don't know where they go next with them, because there's a lot going on in the division. But this month, so I mean, the good thing about all this, sorry, not this month, but November coming up. November is full of 140 fights that we want to see, that we've been waiting on. This is why I I think the Tank fight's being pushed back because they want to see who gets freed up in November to see if they can get a better opponent. Like, I don't want to say that because Lamont Roach is probably going to get his biggest payday with the Tank fight. And, you know, you always want to see a brother get paid. You always want to see boxers get paid well and champions. But I think that's what's going on here. They've heard all of the negativity from the fans, from the channels, from everybody involved, and they're saying we can't have this Tank fight in Houston. It's gonna flop, and if Tank flops, he's not the face of boxing. You know, all the fans gonna get on his helmet. Let's just push it back to David. We know David is a more interesting fight that people are talking about. David Benavidez versus David Morrell. It's in Las Vegas. The casinos will probably put up a little bit more money knowing that Tank is on it. Let's push it back then. And let's hope one of these guys get freed up. You know, Ramirez, Barbosa, maybe Keyshawn. Maybe they do explore Keyshawn. Baranchek is still out there. I don't know why that was never a first option. Baranchek, Navarrete, they can pull him up again. Or Tank can meet him, catch weight. Oscar Valdez, maybe should he win? I don't know, man. I don't think people would take those fights serious, Navarrete or Valdez. But yeah, I think Jack Catterall deserves his just due, man. What about Jack Catterall and Tank, man? Y'all think that would work? I mean, Jack Catterall it's definitely gonna have to be at 40. Maybe you can give him a rehydration clause, but they'll have to be at 40 unless they do catch weight, no rehydration. Because, you know, Tank, they say he's too small, man. So you can do it. You can do one. Just don't do both for me, man. Don't do catch weight and rehydration. Like, if you're going to do it, you know, do one. Don't be changing the weight classes like that to just do rehydration, just like the IBF does. Do 10-pound rehydration. And I think everybody's cool with that because, you know, there's already a sanctioning body that's got that rule in place. So it's not like it's something different. But when you're doing catch weights and rehydration clauses, then, yeah, fans are not going to really mess with that, bro. You know what I'm saying? But Turki Al-Sheikh, you know, he want the fighters, so maybe Tank can revisit Turki Al-Sheikh.
Inside my heart, I want the fighters. Yes. I want to see the fighters.
Me too, Big Turk. I want to see the fighters, bro. Shout out to this dude. He just been bringing boxing to a whole nother level, man. Big Turki Al-Sheikh. And it's really just one of those things where we needed it right now. We got the fighters. We probably got the promoters. A lot of them are with him in the partnership deal. So shout out to Turki Al-Sheikh for bringing us the fights we want to see. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. You guys know what's going on here. I'm about to tap on out. I had to do this one right quick because I'm not too sure. Like, I got a busy week, man. Busy week coming up. I got work tonight. So I got to change the oil on my car. I got to go talk to my mortgage guy. Just a lot of things going on. And, you know, trying to get life organized, bro. Obviously, wintertime's coming up here in Canada. So, got to get everything organized and ready for the wintertime. And, you know what I'm saying? It's just a busy time. So I was like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to get on. Probably not tonight, obviously, because I work. And then tomorrow night, work again. But Wednesday night, I'll be beat because of work. Last 2 nights. So I don't know. I just figured I'd jump on right now, try to get a little hour in for the people. And then, you know, hopefully I'll get back in on Wednesday and do it for y'all. You know, we can talk Wednesday. I don't know if there's pro box. Let's see what's on the agenda actually for scheduled fights coming up. Do know we got, I think Floyd Schofield's fighting this week. But we'll take a look at the schedule, man. We'll see what's going on. Okay. It's the rematch. Oshaki Foster and Conceição. They are rematching Yep, this weekend, Saturday, November 2nd. Yeah, man. They're going to be rematching. I think they're fighting in New York for the WBC super featherweight title. And then Floyd Schofield is fighting, I think, in Las Vegas. 17-0. Just going against Quran. And then Wednesday. Okay, these are ESPN cards. Puerto Rico on the 30th. McCory and Catterall. Pro Box. Oh, okay. So we got Pro Box on Friday, November 1st. In the UK. Okay. Javier Fortuna, he's fighting. All right. And then Jermaine Ortiz. When is that? On Saturday. Okay, November 2nd. Jermaine Ortiz is back. Box Lab Promotions. It's on the Zone. All right, so we got some boxing to watch. Just nothing to watch on Wednesday, but we can definitely outside of this one here in Puerto Rico. That's on ESPN Plus. But definitely we can talk about these upcoming fights. Raymond Morlataya's fighting. Jahad Tucker, he's fighting. Floyd Schofield. Okay, Gabrielle Fandora. I think she's in a unification bout. Yeah. Chantel Cameron's back. Oh, shoot. Thursday. Okay. Iglesias. Yo, he be knocking out people. It's in Montreal, Canada. And then on the 8th, Friday 8th, Lemos versus Keyshawn Davis. Which I'm told they sold a lot of tickets, man, for a Friday event. And then that Saturday Matchroom event. Ennis and Karen. Bam Bam Rodriguez. Ray Ford. Yo, that's going to be a good card, man. It's going to be a really good card. Shout out to them, man. But yeah, I mean, boxing is heating up, man. We getting to a great place in sport. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. About to head on out. Go catch a couple Z's. And yeah, I'll be back later. Maybe on Wednesday. Peace.